As I reported yesterday, or I talked about yesterday, California is going to fully reopen on June 15th, which is this Tuesday. And even though everybody's excited about that, no more limitations, when it comes to capacities and all that, there's still going to be a few catches here and there. Those main catches being that if you are not fully vaccinated, you're still going to have to wear a mask. However, there are going to be some places apparently that even if you are fully vaccinated, you're still going to have to wear a mask. But the key word I kept, reading in a lot of these is required and recommended. Those were the key words. Along with another key word, or at least a key saying, and that is valor of discretion. In other words, it's up to the people in charge of whether or not they'd be okay with you coming into the environment without a mask. And that's the big question, I'm sure a lot of people have, is how many of these environments, these businesses in and outdoor, are going to follow through on these recommendations, these requirements, or how many of them, if not maybe most of them, are going to go by valor of discretion. And if I was to choose an answer out of those three questions, if I was to choose maybe the best answer, I would say that a lot of these businesses, a lot of these environments, theme parks, amusement parks, I think honestly they're going to go with valor of discretion. One of the big surprises was, even though there'll be unlimited capacity when it comes to Disneyland starting next week, you still have to wear a mask. However, I think Disneyland's going to go back on that. I think Disneyland is going to say, you know what? We require you wear a mask, when you enter the most magical place on earth. But you know what? We've changed our minds and we're going to make it a trust issue. We're going to basically trust that you, the visitor, are vaccinated, or at least you've been tested negative for the virus. So yeah, the obvious answer, in my opinion, as to what path I think a lot of these businesses, a lot of these places are going to take after June 15th, I think it's going to be valor of discretion. I think it's going to be valor of discretion. It's going to be, basically, up to them to, trust, the individual, the visitor, the consumer, the customer, if you will, to, either be fully vaccinated or be tested negative, or even take them at their word. So it's going to be an interesting scenario after June 15th, because it's almost certain, in my opinion, it's almost certain that a lot of these businesses are going to be like, screw these recommendations, screw these requirements. Most of the state is vaccinated. I don't think we have to worry too much. So we're going to trust them when they tell us they're vaccinated, or we're going to trust them when they say they don't have the virus, they're negative, stuff like that. It's all going to be basically a matter of trust, is what it's going to be. It's going to be a matter of trust. And, we'll see what happens. Now, are there going to be people that will still be wearing masks even after June 15th, despite the fact that some of the places, if not most of the places that, fall into that category will be like, screw these recommendations, screw these requirements, we're going to get back to the way things were? Are there going to be people, I'm trying to say, there's still going to be people that will wear masks? Absolutely. There'll still be people that wear masks. And you know why? Because even if they are fully vaccinated, if you will, they don't want a chance of relapse. They don't want a chance having a relapse that could, be even worse, even though this vaccine is supposed to combat it for a long time. So Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting. How do I put it? It's going to be an interesting aftermath after June 15th here in California, and I'm sure it's the same for any other state that's targeting, either the middle of this month, early next month, or have already opened up fully. It's pretty much, if not already, has been an interesting aftermath, because again, there are some people that are reluctant to not go out without wearing a mask because they don't trust the fact that some people who have been vocal about not getting the vaccine are not, that could be, well, not, but could be, I should say, carrying the virus, but they don't want to admit it. So yeah, again, it's going to be an interesting aftermath. From what I've been able to tell and almost sense, and I think I'm not alone in this, but I think from what a lot of us can be able to tell, it looks like our president, if you will, is targeting America's birthday to basically say, hey, all of America is fully reopened and everything. Let's get back to normal. I think he's targeting that. He's targeting that time frame because, one, it's America's birthday, it's Independence Day, it's about freedom, and what better way to make yourself look good in your first year as president than on America's birthday to basically reopen all of the country, without hesitation. That's one way to make sure that when the election comes up in 2024, you either get yourself reelected or you get your vice president elected. Yeah, July 4th apparently is the targeted date, and it's going to be really interesting even after that. June 15th here in California, and basically between the next 3 weeks, we'll put it that way, between the next 3 weeks, it's going to be really interesting to see what the aftermath is going to be, because again, there are several states, that starting next week, if not a lot of states, that are going to try to fully reopen, just like Texas and Florida did, and other states did, to get back to normal. And that July 4th, I think, is the targeted date that our president wants to fully reopen America. And again, we'll see the interesting aftermath afterwards, because again, I'm sure a lot of states across the country, even after the full reopening of this country is made official, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of states that are going to try to go by the same requirements and recommendations and everything that basically state, hey look, you still have to wear a mask here and there, just in case and everything, or just for a certain time and all that. So again, it's going to be an interesting aftermath, if you will, to see if any of those requirements are followed through, not just here in the state, here in California, but even after the whole country reopens, potentially around July 4th. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where we go from that period. But let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about all this? Do you think any businesses here in California, if not around the country, when it all fully reopens, will follow through on the recommendations and stuff? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to you later.